Hello बच्चा लोग, I welcome all of you again to the YouTube channel of SRT. Now till now in geometry chapter number 1 of 9th standard, I have already covered your first exercise and second exercise in the previous video. In today's lecture, I will be teaching you third exercise. Okay, before going ahead, a quick reminder to you all, do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get all the latest updates. Also, you can share this video with even those students who are not a part of SRT so that everyone can benefit from it. Do write your views in the comment box regarding the entire video. Chalo, let's start with the third exercise of your chapter number 1 of geometry. Okay, students, now we will start with the third exercise. Before that, just for your knowledge, I have already uploaded separate videos on your first exercise and on your second exercise on YouTube itself. Okay, now in today's lecture, I will be covering practice set number 1.3. Now, as far as this particular exercise is concerned, there are no sums to be solved or anything like that. It is totally based on theory. Very simple exercise. Okay, if any question is asked from this particular exercise in the exam, it will be either a 1-marker question or a 2-marker question. Okay, so before I go ahead with the sums, first I'll explain you the theory on which the entire exercise is based. Chalo, let's see. Okay, now first we will talk about what is a conditional statement. A statement which can be written in if-then form, then such statements are called as conditional statements. अभी ये if then form exactly क्या होता है, example में आप लोगों को समझ में आ जाएगा. Suppose for example, if it rains, then the road becomes wet. Again I repeat, if it rains, then the road becomes wet. So do you see it is in the if then form? Such statements are called as conditional statements. Okay. Now, ये जो conditional statement होता है, इसमें the part of the statement following if is called as antecedent and the part of the statement following then is called as consequent. Means for a conditional statement there are two parts. One is called as antecedent, second is called as consequent. अभी ये antecedent और consequent exactly क्या होता है? Look here. Whenever you have a if then statement, it will be written somewhat like this. If something will be written, then something will be written. So ये जो first part है, that will be called as antecedent and then के बाद जो part आता है, that will be called as consequent. Is that clear? Okay. Now, let's see an example. अभी statement क्या दिया है आप लोगों को? The diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of each other. If I want to get the antecedent and a consequent over here, first the statement needs to be written in conditional form. Conditional form का मतलब क्या? If then form में पहला लिखना पड़ेगा. The given statement is not there in if then form. What does given statement says? Diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Same statement, if I want to write it in conditional form, I will write it like this. Okay. If the given quadrilateral is a rhombus, then its diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. तो जो given statement है, उसको मैंने conditional form में लेकर आया. Okay. Now, if I want to write the antecedent and the consequent, you know that antecedent is following the if. तो if के बाद क्या है देखो. The given quadrilateral is a rhombus. This is the portion after if. Then के बाद क्या है? Its diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. So your antecedent is what? Given quadrilateral is a rhombus, or you can simply say the quadrilateral is a rhombus. Consequent क्या रहेगा? The part that follows then. Then के बाद क्या लिखा है? Its diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. अभी its diagonal मतलब क्या हो जाएगा इधर? The diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. That is the part after then. So that is called as consequent. I hope this much part is clear with you. Let's go ahead. Okay, now students, let's see what the third point is. If the antecedent and consequent in a given statement are interchanged, the resulting statement is called the converse of the given statement. So students, till now what we have studied, we have spoken about what is a conditional statement. A statement in if-then form is called as conditional statement. Then we spoke about antecedent and consequent. जो part if के बाद होता है, that is called as antecedent, and जो then के बाद होता है, that is called as consequent. So first half is antecedent, second half is consequent. Here we are talking about converse of the given statement. Okay, अभी converse in order to get, you just need to reverse your statement. मतलब antecedent और consequent को interchange करने का. Let's see using an example. Example देखो, if the conditional statement is if the given quadrilateral is a rhombus, then its diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. अभी then के बाद क्या पार्ट है इधर? Its diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. This portion of the statement you will write it first in your converse. So how will I start? If the diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other, you can also write it if the diagonals of a quadrilateral are perpendicular bisectors of each other, then it is a rhombus. तो rhombus के बारे में starting में लिखा था, तो converse में it will come in the second half. Okay, look at the answer. Clear? Now see the next thing. इसमें खाली ये वाला point निकाल दो. Example, don't consider what is written over here. Okay, if the conditional statement is true, then it is not necessary that its converse is also going to be true. अभी थोड़ा सा text मेरे image के पीछे गया है, but I am just speaking that. Okay, so pay attention to what I am talking. If the conditional statement is true, then it is not necessary its converse will also be true. इसका मतलब क्या? Suppose if I give you a conditional statement, if it rains, then the road is wet. Okay, इसका converse क्या रहेगा? If the road is wet, then it rains. Okay, अभी जो conditional original statement क्या था? If it rains, then the road will be wet. ये true है. लेकिन if the road is wet, it is not necessary कि वो rain के वजह से ही wet हुआ हो सकता है. Oil गिरा हुआ हो सकता है या or any random thing. What I basically want to tell you is that given conditional statement, if it is true, it is not compulsory कि converse भी true होना चाहिए. Clear? Okay. Let's see the next thing. Okay, students, now we are in a position to start with your practice set. See the first question that is given to you. Write the following statements in if-then form. मतलब उसको conditional form में लिखने का है. First question क्या दिया है? The opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. What type of quadrilateral it is? Parallelogram. So basically question wants to say that कि अगर मेरा quadrilateral parallelogram है तो the opposite angle should be congruent. Same thing in English, how will you write? If a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite angles are congruent. So is it written in if-then form? Okay, so if a quadrilateral is parallelogram, then its opposite angles are congruent. This is the conditional form of the given statement. Second देखो क्या दिया है? The diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. So in this case, अगर मेरा quadrilateral rectangle है तो उसके diagonals congruent होंगे. So how it is written in English? If a quadrilateral is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. Okay, third one. In an isosceles triangle, the segment joining vertex and midpoint of the base is perpendicular to the base. Again I repeat, मेरे जो image के पीछे word है, that is midpoint of base. Okay, so in an isosceles triangle, the segment joining vertex and midpoint of base is perpendicular to the base. कौन से type का triangle है? Isosceles triangle है, तो वो if part में आएगा. तो see how it is written. If a triangle is isosceles triangle, then property क्या है? Segment joining vertex of the triangle and midpoint of base is perpendicular to the base. Okay, clear? Okay, going to the next question. Question number 2. Write the converses of the following statement. First statement क्या दिया है? The alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal are congruent. Okay, students, now understand. They are not asking us if-then form. They are asking us converse. Converse क्या होता है? If-then form का reverse. अभी given statement is not in conditional form, लेकिन converse लिखने के लिए if-then form तो compulsory है. तो पहले this statement you have to write it in if-then form. After getting it in if-then form, you will reverse it. Understood? They are not asking us if-then form over here. Understanding what I am saying you? Okay. So पहले ये if-then form जो लिखा हुआ है ना, ये आप लोग को रफ में लिखना है. आंसर में लिखना कंपलसरी नहीं है. So the conditional form of the given statement will be if two lines are parallel, then the alternate angles formed are congruent. अभी then के बाद वाला portion will come first in my converse. So what I'll say, if the alternate angles formed by two lines and they are transversal are congruent, then the lines are parallel. तो इधर है ना, please do not write parallel lines. That word parallel should come in the second half. जो इधर first half में है, converse में it will come in the second half. Understood? So इससे मेरे को क्या सीखने मिलता है कि अगर converse पूछा है, then first you have to get the conditional form and then reverse it. Okay? Next question. Simple है, very easy. Why very easy? Because the given question is already in conditional form. If a pair of interior angles made by transversal of two lines are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. तो इधर then के बाद वाला जो portion है, in my converse it will come first. If two parallel lines are intersected by transversal, तो मेरा word parallel पहले ही आ गया. So if two parallel lines are intersected by transversal, then the interior angles so formed are supplementary. Okay? Next question. Diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. अभी this is a problem. Converse लिखने के लिए पहले इसका if then form मेरे को ready करना पड़ेगा. तो what will be the if then form? If the quadrilateral is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. उसका converse. If the diagonals are congruent, then the quadrilateral is rectangle. ये देखो, ये if then form हो गया. जो blue में लिखा है वो आपको लिखना compulsory नहीं है. Red में जो लिखा है, this is your final answer. If the diagonals of a quadrilateral are congruent, then the quadrilateral is a rectangle. A part of the text has gone behind my image, but that is what I'm orally speaking also. Clear? Okay. So this completes your third exercise of the chapter. I hope the theory part is clear. Here we have covered conditional statement, antecedent, consequent and converse of the given statement. Okay. Thank you. Okay, students, so in today's lecture we have done your practice set number 1.3. It is a very simple exercise, but please do not take it very lightly. Do revise it. It is totally based on theory. No mathematical sums to be done over here. Okay, very soon I'll be back over here with much more content only for you. Till then, tata bye bye.